going to go ahead and get started because you know I respect your time. I do not take you for granted. But welcome to Coffee Talk. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate you. Last week I talked about focus. And one of the things I mentioned during Coffee Talk last week as it relates to focus, the greater the focus, the greater the reward. So I wanted to talk about that just a little bit more today because that's been on my spirit all week. But what I thought about is as we focus, and a lot of us have action plans and goals and we are working the plan. But what I want to spend just a few minutes talking about today is don't lose sight of the importance of small steps. And because they are necessary to achieve what it is that you desire. Whatever you're working on, don't lose sight of the small steps. Because sometimes with us, you know, we want to go from 0 to 100 or 0 to 10, and I talk about that all the time. But there are small steps. And sometimes what happens, we ignore the small steps. Or we want to just go past the small steps. Or even if we work through the small steps, we don't acknowledge them. So if you think about the small steps, and if you acknowledge the small steps, they can help you stay encouraged and inspired. And every great thing starts small. It's like planting a seed. We don't see the outcome the day we plant the seed, because there's work that we have to do. We plant the seed, and then the process to get the seed from when we first plant it to the point we see the end result, we have to tend the seed. We have to water it, make sure it gets the appropriate light, fertilizer. So when we plant the seed, it takes root, but from the time the seed is planted, from the time it takes root to the time that it actually develops or gets to the point where we see the end result, there's a process that it goes through. And these are the small steps. And you can't plant the seed and expect to get the outcome that you want, right, without doing the small steps. And that's watering it, making sure it gets the right fertilizer, the sun. Because if you omit the small steps, you're not going to get the result that you desire. And small seeds, if you tend to it properly, can produce huge harvests. So that's why I wanted to spend just a few minutes talking about don't forget the small steps. And it's the same thing when you talk about humans. We're born as babies, right? And then there are different stages of our lives. So we go from being born as a baby to senior citizen if we live long enough, right? But there are steps that we take at each stage. Or we're nurtured, especially as a baby, we're nurtured. You know, parents tend to us to get us through that whole growth process. So don't forget the small steps. And here's the thing, at the beginning, when we first start out, if we plant our seed or even as a mother giving birth to a child, there's plenty of joy. And then sometimes we get weary. We plant the seed. We want it to happen now. We want this harvest to come in now. But we have to tend it, we have to work it, and sometimes we get weary. Same thing with children. And I'm not a mother, so I know the mothers out there know what I'm talking about. You know, this is your child. And you're responsible for the growth of this child, but you're excited when that child is first born. But as the child grows, you get weary sometimes and just get tired. But you don't give in, you don't give up. You continue to do so. It's the same thing. If there's something that you're working on, you have a desire, it's part of who you are because of that burning in your soul, then you have to keep going. Don't lose sight of that joy. Maintain that joy. So whatever you focus on today, and I said this last week, may it be a broken relationship, financial crisis, a failed dream, or maybe just personal or professional development. Because maybe you feel like, you know what, I want more professionally. So maybe you're focusing on trying to develop further along in your career. But stay committed, whatever you're doing, and just take one step at a time. Put one foot in front of the other. And remember, small and strategic steps can lead to big breakthroughs. I'm sorry, I'm stumbling here this morning. This is what happens when you get up at 6 o'clock on a Sunday morning. But it can lead to big breakthroughs. Small steps. So don't forget the small steps. Don't lose sight. And like today is a good day, there are more wonderful days to come. So as you look at your life, and when you feel like I'm tired, or feel like you're weary, or you feel like you're not making progress, just remember the small steps. Do not overlook the years of everyday life. Life is just not one big moment with lots of lag time in between. Life is what happens in the in-between moments. You grow through life, not go through it. You grow through life, not go through life. And you do it one day at a time, taking one step at a time. You grow in development, knowledge, wisdom, stature. You grow through life, not go through it, grow. And our best moments are as a result of years and years of character building, right? Development, healthy living, and growth. And it is the decisions that we make determines who we are. So remember the small steps, the small things. They can turn out to be big, huge. So stay focused and believe, because you can't achieve anything until you have done the work and gained the experience to believe it. And you can't birth anything into the universe until you believe you can. And the belief comes from doing the work and having faith. Grow into it, because that's what we do. Just like the seed. And when you stay focused and you work through it and you believe the right people will be placed in your life at the right time, and you will be at the right place at the right time. So whatever you're wanting for, and remember this and think about this, and you know this, whenever you have put a plan together to accomplish something and you stay focused and you work through it, think about this. Whatever you expected to accomplish, the result is always greater than what you expected. Think about that. Whatever you expected to accomplish, when you stay focused, you have a plan, you work through it. The outcome is always greater than what you expected. Something to think about. So know that you will have challenges, and some of them will be big, because that's life. And the reason you have big challenges is because whatever you're pursuing or you're working on, your destiny, it's because it's big. Remember, the greater the focus, the greater the reward. And the reason you will have big challenges is because your destination or the outcome is big. Your destiny or your outcome is big. So don't be controlled by anxiety. Do not be bullied by fear, because it will take your confidence. And know that you are not a victim. So if you're feeling a little bit discouraged today, just take one small step. And remember, you have to believe it and do the work before you can achieve it. But don't overlook the small steps. Think of the seed. Think of the seed. When you plant that seed, you have to tend to it. You have to tend the soil. Make sure it gets just the right amount of care. And that seed can turn into a great, great harvest. So stay focused. Don't give up. And remember the small steps. They are equally important. So that is Coffee Talk. I just want to see what messages that we have, or comments, I should say, of any. But remember, and I love thinking of fear this way, don't be bullied by fear. Because sometimes the fear can just overtake us. But if you think of but if you think of fear as a bully, right? Don't let it take your confidence. Use that as a tool to start arming yourself against it. Because if you think of it as a bully, then you will be more aware, hopefully, when you start to feel that fear. And don't let it bully you. And don't be controlled by anxiety. So let's see what comments we have. I'm looking at my phone because I can't see it on my computer. And Mem said, Jess, you're crawling before you walk. That's it. Morning, Janice. Crystal says the greater the focus, the greater the reward. That's it. And you know that. So push forward. Believe it and do the work before you can achieve it. Dr. Cornelia says she won't forget to take the small steps. Not only take the small steps, but acknowledge them, because that will keep you inspired. Because far too often, and I talk to women all the time and had conversations with a couple of women this week, and they've accomplished some things. They're small steps, but they're great. And I'm like, what are you going to do to celebrate? And they looked at me like, really? I'm like, yeah, celebrate. Yeah, and write it down. So when you start looking at your timeline, you can say, well, gee, you check this off, see how far you've come. Because far too often, we always think about how far we have to go. We don't focus on how far we've come. So when you acknowledge the small steps, that helps you realize how far you have come. And when you look at how far you've come, can help you realize you may not have that much further to go. You may not have that much farther to go. Think about that when you look at how far you've come. So that is Coffee Talk this morning, ladies, to give you something to think about. Paula says, fear is a bully. That's it. And the thing is, this is what's so powerful. We own it. We own it. So, yeah, you can definitely fight fear. Fight the bully. All right, ladies, that is Coffee Talk. Just really quickly before I let you go, a couple of things. If you think that other women would appreciate the message on Coffee Talk on Sunday mornings, I invite you to have them join the group, or you can just add them to the group. The other thing, the Witness the Most Powerful You workshop, I've set them up again to have them the second Saturday of each month. The next one is May 8th. I didn't realize it was Mother's Day weekend at the time, but that could be a good thing too. Treat yourself as a Mother's Day gift. And remember, I authored the workbook, so I actually take you through the workbook and teach you 5 principles, introduce you to 5 principles to create and live the life you desire. So when I post this video, the link will be there. Again, it's something to do. You may want to treat yourself. It will definitely help you stay focused or get focused on what's really important to you and start building actionable steps so you can achieve what it is that you desire. The other thing is Inspirations for the Soul. If you don't have your copy, when I post this link, it will also be there. If you don't have a copy, this is another great gift. You may want to give to any woman, or even for yourself. Like I said, Mother's Day is coming up, or any occasion, or you just want to be generous and give it to a woman that you know. It's powerful messages with questions to really help you think about what you want so you can start building actionable steps to achieve what it is you desire. And the last thing I'm going to ask you for your prayers. I have something that's been placed on my heart. So, Yvonne, you have to come on home so we can talk about it. I won't share it here, but I want you to put this date on your calendar and just join me in prayer. And because I'm asking for prayers, because it's been placed on my heart to do. And I even have the date, so here it is, September 23rd, 2022. So put that date on your calendar. And I'm just going to pray for guidance and believing that if this is to come to pass, God will give me the courage and everything I need for it to come to pass. But it's something I thought about in 2015, actually. And the other day I went for a run, and all of a sudden it was just right there in front of me in my spirit, and I can't get it out of my head. So I just went ahead and picked the date, which will be almost 7 years from the date that I was first introduced to it. And I said before, I just jumped because I have the tendency to leap, just jump. I'm going to pray about it first so that I can be really clear. I know it's something I'm supposed to do, and maybe this is my fear. Maybe I'm allowing fear to bully me right now. But I'm asking for your prayers. Just ask for the people that are on this call that are prayer warriors. Just ask God to just give me the strength and the courage to be able to do it. And the date again is September 23rd, 2022. And so, yeah, pray for me. So that's Coffee Talk. Let's see. As Janice says, step by step, and it will come to pass. This message is for me, Sandra. Thanks for watching. Ladies, I am so excited. So when Ubong comes back and I get my girls, Ubong and Janice and a few others together, after you ladies have prayed for me, I'm going to tell you what this is for September 23rd, 2022, because I'm going to need your support on this one. So with that being said, that's Coffee Talk, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate you. Whatever you're doing today, make it a good day. Have a great week. Love and blessings to you and your family. I will see you back here next Sunday. Take care. Have a great day.